to bring you around to Yiddish stuff, I'm working on a new Yiddish opera based on a text by Ascher Penn, Hatuey, about a Taino Indian chief. This epic poem, Hatuey, or Hatuey, we're still trying to figure out the pronunciation, because in Spanish it would be Hatuey, but in Yiddish it's got the hey, so I'm not sure if it's Hatuey. We're working on it. An epic poem about a Taino Indian chief who led the first armed uprising against the conquistadores in the 16th century, and who's famous for doing that. He's the first pre-Cuban revolutionary hero. He lost terribly, they killed him. And as he's about to be burnt on the stake, the priest says, accept Christ and you'll go to heaven. And he goes, and will you all be in heaven, you people, when you die? They go, of course. He goes, well, then I'll go to the other place. So he's a famous hero. So Ascher Penn, this guy who as a young child escaped the Ukraine, escaped the Soviet Union and the pogroms in the most horrible way, got out, got to Cuba, lived like from being a young, a teenager to a young man in Cuba. Then as he's coming to New York, and he says, he writes this poem as his homage to his second fatherland, Cuba. And he writes this poem about Hatuey, this 100-page epic Yiddish poem, which is so intense. I mean, he talks about the white people, divisa, los blancos. All they care about is gold. They only want gold. The blood, they spill blood everywhere. It's a horrific story. It's a way of talking about, obliquely, about the Jewish fate, of being totally slaughtered for your courage, for your convictions, for your culture, for your property, just for being who you are, being slaughtered. So it's kind of an analogy that resonates with the Cubans in the world. And the last stanzas of the poem are an amazing, as Hatuey is dead, but his indomitable spirit lives on, and it reflects that kind of intense socio-political, spiritual love that the Yiddish socialists, all the writers, my favorite writer, David Edelstadt, who wrote all the great Yiddish socialist anthems, that they have for social justice. And they really have a deep passion for it when they write. Opera, in its really true sense, is one of the great Gesamtkunstwerk, total art forms, where you have music, spectacle, dance, theater, visual arts, everything. And nowadays, most of them are multimedia, so it's really one of these total sensory, total aesthetic experiences. I believe that audiences know how to experience art in languages that they don't understand, whether it's through a combination of synopsis, libretto translation, super titles. We're familiar with this. So in a certain sense, going to a Yiddish opera should be no different than going to a German opera, a Strauss opera, or something like this. So I think that's one of the reasons that I've been very interested in Yiddish opera.